Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's jump into this. John Paul will be here to answer any questions afterwards. Let's get rolling. So a couple of these real quick, you guys. Let's jump into this. How about Florida? How about Florida? Gary, you're the only one.
They don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I knew
NC2A championship college basketball.
they were going to win.
Yeah, I had it too. But I was a little concerned at the very beginning. I had Duke, by the way, at the beginning. All right, housing numbers. It's funny because Katie was just telling me she ran the numbers this morning, and they had changed. Remember, this is always done on Sunday. 8,100 homes, that's only up 1%. Last week it was 3.9%. So it's only up 1% right now. 585 homes were sold in the last 7 days. Vacancy rate has stayed the same at 47%. Basically right there. Distressed properties, same thing, around 91. Does anybody doing distressed properties? Does anybody call them? JP, JP's doing them, okay. Is anybody getting emails from Rock Title about distressed properties? Okay, a couple of us. If anybody wants it, just let Heather know.
Just send me an email.
I get them every day.
Yeah, so do I.
There's a
And
lot.
so if you're gonna do them, like I said, there's only a few right now, but I don't think they're gonna be getting any a whole lot worse. Especially I think in the coming months, it's gonna get better and
The
better.
funny thing is you're finding your friends on there, your neighbors,
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, call your buddy up, hey, is there an issue going on? No, what do you mean? Let's see, one more thing here that I want to look at. What was it? 100,000 to 400,000, that's up, I think, about 200 homes over last week, but look at the price reductions. 426 price reductions on homes for 400 to 800,000. We gotta price them correctly. That's the biggest thing I'm seeing. It's funny, I listened to the news today, the reporter got local and said, you know, highest prices of homes and inventory is soaring. Yeah, no shit, it's summertime. Thank you for letting us know this. I mean, act like she was the fucking wizard about it. So, all right, on that one. Heather, come on up and say hi. Good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Heather Merrick here. I'm your sales executive with Rock Title. I can help you with your marketing. We have tons of classes. Have you guys been on One Rockstars recently? That is our website where you can get a list of all of our online classes. So it has our training schedule. Every Monday at 1 o'clock on Zoom, we have a rotating classes. So this coming Monday, property searches and listing alerts. The following one, we have the modern drip campaign and campaign editor. Get a lot of questions about that. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about that, get on those Monday calls and you get the registration links on here. We also have other classes. I won't go over all of them.
Now, 1 o'clock isn't it 1 o'clock on Mondays they do the CRM? Is that
It's
right?
rotating, so it's not
Okay.
every Monday.
Okay, I
we
thought
have
it was
one.
every Monday, okay.
So, yeah, I think the next one of those, we might have just had that one. That one was yesterday.
So if
the
you're
CRM
using our CRM sync, they do a class, obviously rotating, but it gives you exactly how to upload, how to do all the things to it. If you're using our free website that we give you at no cost. That would normally run you around $1,500 a year if you bought it outside of Realty One Group. It is you get the basic package basically, but if you wanted to get the upgraded one, there is a cost. I don't remember what that cost is, but if you're using it, you guys need to make sure you're getting how to use it correctly.
Yeah, so obviously we're a title company, so our goal is to get your escrows and help you in any way we can to get to the closing table and then fund, of course, record. But in between that, we can help you with marketing ideas. I can give you a consultation on ideas that might suit you or things I can come up with that maybe better helps you guys. A couple things over the next couple weeks. I might be a little less visible in person. I'm having surgery on my foot on Friday. I'm gonna be completely out Friday. I've learned not to answer my phone after I come out of anesthesia. I have a funny story about that, but from experience, I will not be available Friday. I'll be working from home Monday and Tuesday. I'll still be 100% available. And then I'm gonna be on a little push scooter for 6 weeks. So you'll see me rolling around in here. But I'll still be available. If you don't see me in this office, I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna be more in Summerlin or the Rock Title on Russell, just to be more accessible for everybody, because I can't drive for 2 weeks. So, but again, well, that's not me anymore.
That's not
but-
you, yes.
My information is in the handout there, so you guys can reach me on that. All right, and then tomorrow in Summerlin, I'm doing title tools, where I'm gonna go over all of our tools, so.
Perfect.
Hope to see you guys
Okay,
then.
thank you, appreciate that. So, guys, I thought this was actually funny, somebody sent this to me, the other day, and I just thought it was interesting. It's just funny stuff in here, if you'll remember, a lot of us, okay, a lot of us will remember this.
Good old
So-
days.
Yeah, so it just says what most teen boys were doing before video games.
Yep.
And I remember doing all that kind of stuff, taking motors out. You remember the sugar daddies, when it was just a candy? Now, this one's a little bit sexist, so I won't show that one.
Yep.
I wasn't, of course, in the 50s, but I remember how many people you get in the drive-thru.
Yep.
For those of you who know what a drive-thru was, you used to park your car and watch a movie with the speaker inside your car. That was back in the day. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's called kidnapping.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Now it's called kidnapping. Remember when schools were closed on Sunday? Badminton, does anybody remember that? That's hilarious. I'm glad I grew up doing this and not that, playing in the creek versus sitting on your phone, which is crazy, the phones today. Yeah, it's whatever. I remember this, I like this one here. You may be older than dirt if you remember this. The feeling of security. It's funny, I remember back in the day, we had a cabin, my grandfather had a cabin in Utah. We had an outhouse, and that was our lock right there. Yeah. Cinnamon toast, I remember we used to make our own cinnamon toast. Double Bubble, I remember had the comic books in it, I think that was kind of cute. 5 and dime stores. Whoops, what did I do? I hit the wrong valve, hang on. No, Katie, you can't fix it. We might be old. We had great hair, listened to cool music, and drove the best cars. Believe it or not, you guys, I used to have hair probably down to about here on my, back in the day.
Where's the photo?
Yeah, I don't even know if I got one, but it was all feathered, long down to right here. Anybody remember Angel Flight suits?
Yeah.
I would say, only a couple of us, I used to have platforms like that, you guys, back in the
You
day.
didn't get tramp stamp, did you?
Yeah, no, sir. No, I didn't do that. No, didn't do that. Remember we didn't have GPS? I was thinking, is this candied peanuts? What is that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Those are good.
With a,
Yeah.
just,
Just
with
yeah.
hard candy, or, okay. I kept trying to think, I think that's what it was.
West Lafayette.
Yeah.
Boy, man, if you had that car right now today, that car right there is probably worth fucking $10 million. I know it's wrecked, but even the wrecked one is even that worth that. I like this. The original slow cooker. The food was the best. This is really good. I'll read it to you. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, screen porch. I think this is in Florida. Looks like Florida. $7,400. Monthly payment $47.92, and closing cost and repayment $155.
Sign me up.
Includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Well, listen, a 2-bedroom isn't gonna work, so I need the 3-bedroom. That's gonna be $49 a month. Closing costs and repayment $165, includes everything, $7,900. Now, everything's, we all know, that's like a house today. They didn't have the money anyways back then, but imagine. Now everybody, especially the men, had this one. You know, when you got hurt, you cut yourself, they put that stuff on, you scream like crazy. And I like what they say here. Grew up having the fiery spit of Satan dabbed on every skin, knee, and cut. And that's exactly what it was. Don't do that. Saturday morning cartoons and a bowl of cereal without a care in the world. Those are the days I remember doing that.
Being able to sit like that?
I could sit like that. I never could sit like that. But if I sat like that today, you'd have to help me up, and I couldn't move for a week. Everybody remembers, even if you didn't have one of these, someone you knew had draped over a couch. Crocheted, everybody did that. I like this part. Old hippies just don't die. They fade into crazy grandparents. That's cute. Hit parade, this is some of the music. Bad Moon Rising in June of '69 was the #1 song for 3 weeks. Remember in the swing so high the poles came out of the ground?
Yeah.
How many of that happened to you? Remember who walked home from school? We walked up hills both ways in the snow. When I was
5 miles.
Yeah, exactly right.
Right?
Exactly right. I like this one, prehistoric Googling. Remember the card system like that? That was crazy. I remember that, learning how to use it.
You actually went to college to get a degree in that.
Yeah, absolutely right, absolutely right. Someone never ever said in the '70s, I lost my phone. I think that's cute. Everybody remembers them. Classic wafers. Amazing. Now, this is a good one, and I don't know how many people have ever drove one of them. Does anybody remember that 3 on the tree? Does anybody remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I learned how to drive a car. I was 14 or 15 and working at the Meadows Mall, helping build it, and there was a work truck that had that, 3 on the tree, and I learned how to drive it back then.
How many times did you have to get up under it, unlock?
Yes, because of jam, yep. Isn't that crazy?
3 in the tree and 4 on the floor.
Yep. When we were kids, we didn't have to say, don't try this at home, because we weren't all a bunch of morons. Put dynamite by the dog. That is more true than anything right now. I like this, 1960 security cameras. We had a lady across the street from us that did that right there. When I was a kid, we didn't have water bottles, we had a garden hose. Sheriff, you remember this. I remember that right there, 100%. We didn't know what a water bottle was. Tube testing. There it is. Archaeologists recently unearthed an ancient artifact in the field. Drive-in movie right there, people. You don't remember. Who remembers playing in the creek? We all did that kind of stuff. 6 on the tree there, on the floor. Now, what do you do with that? Who remembers that one?
Roll it.
Yes, yes. Remember when you pull it out and you go all into the dent? You're like trying to pull the shit out of it? Anyways, remember these
Hoping
scars?
that it still played after you rewound it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I like this, the black Charger I wanted, the black Charger I have. And I just think about these old, especially some of the guys and girls as well, the old cars. If you have that old car today, man. I like this one, an old-fashioned merry-go-round, no safety cushions, no plastic here, just fun. And we all remember being bucked off one of them. Who didn't get a piece of candy out of that jar? Right, remember it was one clump? You had to break it off because it all clumped up. And it was that ribbon candy.
Yes.
Yes.
We all have that.
Yeah, yes. There's a generation of kids who have no idea what that is. Yeah, isn't that wild? I miss being able to slam my phone down when I hang up on somebody. Violently pressing the end call just doesn't do it for me anymore. When I was young, this was my mobile phone. That, I'm sure a lot of people had that right there. I've got a set of tapes like this, but they're all motivational, Zig Ziglar and all these old people. I got one just like that still today. Not sure where it's at, but I do have it. Everybody remembers that. I remember the old timers. Gary would pull that out and they'd measure stuff, click.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of, I think it was plumbers that had that a lot. I like this one too. The 7 dwarfs of old age. Nappy, wrinkly, squinty, rocky, saggy, farty, and leaky. I think that's cute. This is a good one. Looters have it easy today. It was a lot harder to run with a color TV in 1968. Yeah, you can't get rid of them. And this is good. I remember late night comedy shows were actually funny. Today, none of them are even funny. Car bomb. The bench seat. I remember them. How well do you remember this? Who's that? Mork and Mindy. Remember that? That was a maniac. This is a kind of cool right here. 1970 cost of living. New house, $23,000. Average income, $9,000. New car, $3,400. Minimum wage, $2.10 an hour. Movie ticket, $1.55. Gas, 36 cents a gallon. Postage stamp, 6 cents. Sugar, 39 cents for 5 pounds. Milk, 62 cents a gallon. Coffee, $1.90 a pound. Eggs, 59 cents a dozen. And bread, 25 cents. Damn. Now this is cool. when I remember as a kid, if you could run back up the slide, you had mad skills. And I think we're about done. People gotta remember them.
Yeah.
Those are cool. And that one right there, being exhausted. This was called plane, and it required no batteries, no electricity. It was done outside, and the only birds were in the trees, and they were not angry birds. Okay, if you're on a swing set, you remember jumping out of one. And then if you remember being on a swing set, you remember getting bucked out of one too, which wasn't as much fun. Okay, step on something. Remember stepping on them? Ouch. And that, you remember going into school, seeing that, going, hey, today's gonna be movie day. Crazy. All right, anyway, sorry about that, you guys. Thought it was interesting, thought it was funny. All right.
Thank you.
Thought that was good. You're welcome. I think I thought that was pretty cool. All right, Brian, come on up, give him a big hand. Appreciate you guys enduring that. Me and Brian are on the same team. All right, sir, the floor is yours.
All right, well, since last Tuesday, a lot's changed in the mortgage world and the economy. So with the new tariffs, there's a lot of economic uncertainty over the weekend. Markets dropped pretty substantially. The 10-year treasury dropped to 3.9% on Friday, and we lost it all on Monday. And that's pretty much the market in a nutshell. We're at 4.2% for the 10-year treasury as of this morning. And so mortgage rates went all the way down to 6.5% and right back up to 6.8. So essentially not much has changed.
Right.
The global markets reset after they figured out how other countries were going to react to the tariffs. Then basically the stock market recovered, which caused the 10-year treasury to return right back to where it was.
Yeah.
So
There's gonna be some volatility in the market for a little bit, but I think it's gonna
yeah,
I think it's gonna come around.
yep. So
What was the market right now? Anybody know? It was up 1,400 points right there this morning. It was, I seen earlier.
It's up 537.
Okay. Yeah, we all got fluctuated out a lot of money in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
So
But if you buy in right now, it's on sale.
that's it. Always buying the down, right?
yeah.
Cool.
If you were going to buy on Friday,
Friday.
you'd be in a good
Yes,
spot.
but either way, make sure you put a lot into it.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks you. Appreciate you, Brian. You did a good job. Fascia, risk reduction, please.
Yes, yes. Oh, wait, there's two people coming. Of course. Good morning. It's kind of a quiet group this morning.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
There you go. Whoop, whoop.
So I handed out 3 flyers, y'all. They're all important, but the one that says new on it, I think it's just really important if you're doing transactions with buyers to know that as of today, and if I talked to any of you last week, it's still true today, but things can change tomorrow. So right now, Old Republic Home Protection regionally is the only company that addresses the new refrigerant requirements for 2025 and how we're handling the replacement of AC systems. So what we found is if you replace an AC system with the new, it's not always compatible with the furnace. And as most home warranty companies, even mine last year stated, we only replace what's failed. So you get a new AC and it's not compatible with the furnace, and the homeowner or the policyholder has to pay for the cost of the furnace because it didn't fail. So as of today, again, there could be something sitting at the State of Nevada Insurance Board waiting to be approved, but as of today, Old Republic Home Protection addresses that and states that we will cover the cost of the components that affect the heating and cooling of the system. And it's just that change of and from or. So we will cover the cost of the equipment if it is not compatible with the new AC. We don't cover the labor, but we will cover the cost of equipment, which could still be a few $1,000s that saves your client. On the back side of that flyer, it has a little graphic that says if you get our silver, our gold, or our platinum, what we will and what we won't cover. We don't have limits on systems or the refrigerant, but we do have limits on permits, code upgrades, haul away, modifications that might be required. So the higher you go in plan, the more we're going to cover in that out of pocket. but we always will cover the system and the refrigerant. So just remembering, because people get frustrated, I thought it would cover everything. I have a crown that's bothering me lately, and it's my only crown, and it drives me nuts because apparently my gum has receded in the back, and just a tiny, tiny bit, but I can feel the edge of the crown. Like, my insurance doesn't cover that. Thankfully, I have a flex spending account, so, but insurance doesn't cover everything. And so we have it in hopes that it'll take the lion's share of the cost, but it doesn't mean that it'll cover everything. And I always kind of liken our silver, our gold, and our platinum to an HMO, a PPO, and a PPO plus. And you're gonna have, when you go to the doctor, you have to pay a copay. You have to pay a copay with us, our trade call, we call it a trade call fee, and it's $100. And that's, somebody is employed by someone, being called out to an appointment, driving there and diagnosing. It's not free for them to do that. And they might diagnose that, hey, we just found a bath toy in your toilet that's clogged, and we're not covering that because that's not normal wear and tear. You're still responsible for the $100. They diagnosed it, and they'll clear it for you, but they're probably gonna clear it for you at retail cost and not ours, because we don't cover that. But just, setting that right expectation. Second flyer is seller's coverage. If you're putting a listing out there that's under 5,000 square feet, and you're not protecting your seller for just a minimum, this will cover, it doesn't include HVAC. HVAC is a $70 cost, but then if you add that $70, it protects the home on HVAC for up to $1,500, $3,000 on the covered appliances, $5,000 on plumbing. It could keep a deal on track. It also gives us a history, so if it turns into a buyer policy and the AC goes out 2 days after someone moves in, we're less likely to deny it because it worked through the listing, or we have a history of it working through the listing. So it can help with those after closing calls that you might get, especially in the summer when it comes to AC. Risk reduction protects your buyers, protects you and your commissions. And then I just will constantly holler out, if you're selling new construction or you've sold anything in the last year, 10 months, this is the best bang for the buck, bless you. It starts on day 1 of year 2, $1,040 for the gold plan. That's for 4 years of continued coverage. If you didn't close with it, there's a 30-day wait, so that's where that 10 months kind of comes in to start contacting your clients. If you need a reason to call them and see how they're doing, say, hey, I have a great deal, $1,040 for 4 more years of protection on your home. So don't forget about this. It's a good reason to reach out to your clients if you're selling new homes. But this is the big one. So just remember, we aren't an emergency service, but we can save your client thousands of dollars. So just know what the detail is, the competitors that you might be using. If you have an older home, really just give me a call and ask me the questions and see if it's maybe a better fit for who you usually use. And just protect your clients and protect your assets. Because it can just save you a lot of money, and again, it helps reduce those after closing calls. So if you're not working with someone that you like, trust, or have confidence in, I'd love the opportunity to earn your business.
Thank you, appreciate it, give her a big hand. So, you guys remember talking a few months ago, maybe a month ago, about the agent who had a listing, and they had an offer come in, they were asking for $27,000 in closing costs. She sent back that they wouldn't accept that. That same buyer sent an offer over that night without the closing costs on it. The seller signed the contract with $27,000 in closing costs. You guys remember that story we talked about? So we got it all figured out. What ended up happening, which is really cool, of the buyer and the buyer's agent. The appraisal came in $3,000 low. So what they agreed to do, which is mind blowing, they came. Somebody's phone's going out or something. They agreed to accept, if the seller would lower the house $3,000, they would take away the $27,000 in closing costs. And I was like, wow.
What?
Yeah, that's what they did.
$3,000?
Yeah, for $3,000, they waived the $27,000.
They are not that pretty.
Boy, I tell you, believe me, I talked to them both, and I'm like, namaste, is that what you say? Whatever. I mean, I couldn't believe how. It worked out, and they accepted it. Because they knew, you guys, at the end of the day, that it was a snafu, right? because they would accept it at 27, they knew that, so. But listen, she signed a contract, they could've held them to it, so just the notes to self, slow down. Right, we're all in a hurry, we're all rushing around, slow down, make sure you don't do something like that. Do you have something, Jeannie?
Well, so something just happened recently. I went to the vet, it's a new vet that I go to now, and we got to talking about real estate. And he bought a house like 6 months ago out here where it's more custom. And then 6 months later, you know, we bought the house 6 months ago, and then he had the pipes leaked in the foundation.
Okay,
And then there was no rebar in the foundation. And so his whole foundation is crumbling.
oh, no.
So I thought it was a really good thing to learn without actually being in the midst of it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I asked him a bunch of questions, and I guess when I saw him on Sunday, I asked him, so remember we were talking about your foundation, blah, blah, blah. And he had a home inspection, the whole 9 yards. The lady he bought it from a flipper. And I asked him about his foundation. I guess he had some type of wood floors, I don't know what type. When they pulled up the wood floors, you could see where they filled in the gaps with glue. So my question to you is, in this teachable moment that you would, right now they're at $500,000
Right,
to do this.
right.
And now he's fighting with the insurance company because now the insurance company is not wanting to, his
Wow.
insurance company isn't wanting, USAA is not wanting to pick up and deal with it, right?
They're saying it's a defect prior to them purchasing the house.
They were saying, well, the USAA is saying that, somebody
No
knew,
Ciablo?
somebody knew about it.
But how,
We don't understand?
but without a structural inspection, how would they have done that? Because a regular inspection is not gonna,
Right, no inspector's gonna be able to see the
Even
rebar.
a structural inspection, what are they gonna do, like tear apart the floor?
right, I mean, they might just be
So,
able to
but
see
my
something
question
like that.
about the rebar is there a test? When you are a buyer's agent, right, is there a test to
The
cover
only-
your buyer to see if there's, in a custom home, not a tract home,
Right.
but in a custom home out here, where my house was built by Kevin Campbell, cause I live on Campbell, and the guy next door's house was built by somebody else, you know, it's a crapshoot on,
The only one that I think that you might be able to do is on the side of where your slab is, you'll generally see rebar if they did post tensioning. You know, they have the kind of, you're gonna have to knock the
but
stuff
is
away.
there,
You could use a metal detector and see if there's,
God, would
Well,
they?
you only need you only need the rebar where the footers are, you don't
Yeah.
need rebar in the slab.
not in the slab. The slab is not the foundation.
Right,
The
interesting.
foundation is the perimeter.
Where the walls stand on
Where the
top
walls
of it.
stand.
Or
so I
So
guess that's what
They
they're,
don't,
at
I
500,000,
you know, depending on when the house was built, they may not have required rebar
90s.
and.
no, I talked to my husband, he said that's been a code for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, it's
Sure.
that's where the strength of the house is sitting on.
I
Maybe
mean,
not
short of pulling the permits for construction.
You guys, I mean, I don't know, would
This is
a
just-
metal detector detect that?
The
Like
only
you said,
reason
there's
I
not a
bring this
requirement.
up is because nobody wants to get into this hornet's nest.
Oh,
This-
yeah.
This seems like an exception to the rule and not a standard rule.
Do you tell that to the realtor that sold him the house? Who's in the middle of this shitstorm? I don't think he feels that, or she, I don't know
Right.
who it was, but
She's gonna be asking to go
I
on
need-
large fries with that order,
the only reason I brought this up, because stuff happens that's
that you can't
never-
control.
Well, and stuff happens in real estate 30 years later, I've never heard of that.
Right. I mean, the one thing though, you guys, is the one thing that, it's only, if we know it's, then it's one thing, like, so, the original, the second owner, the flipper, when they filled the hole in with all the cracks in with glue,
So did they go after
knew,
them?
well, they're gonna have to do something because they knew, right?
Right.
The homeowner who bought it didn't know that, the seller didn't know it, the agent didn't know it. We can only be held accountable for something we knew. If we didn't know it, I mean, how could we be held accountable something we don't know, so,
I know, but you're still involved.
oh, absolutely.
But like on the last house that I owned, I redid all the flooring and we took up all the old tile flooring and it was in a subdivision that was built, all the homes were built by the same builder. And there were cracks in it, they weren't huge cracks, but you're gonna get cracks.
Oh,
in
yeah, cracks are
whatever
all.
slab that you have, so my question then would
These
be,
aren't cracks, it's crumbling.
okay, so, and that's a difference.
It's crumbling.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds like bad
And then
sacred.
the insurance company
Yeah,
came out
concrete.
and drilled
Yeah.
into the foundation
Right.
in different spots.
Please, Heather.
I was at LVR, and there was at the risk management committee, and there was an attorney speaking basically on issues, not that specific issue. And she doesn't sue realtors, but she sues people that maybe didn't disclose everything. And she said, always try to get the SRPD from the seller from when they bought their house if they kept it.
Oh, gotcha.
So that might be
Oh, that might, yeah, that's
another way
probably a good idea.
to,
Oh, wow.
so
It's a great
so
idea.
if she can get that, and then I can give you the name of this attorney you can give to him, and she will research to see who is liable.
Yeah, he
And
has an attorney,
he does, okay.
you know,
Yeah.
but he, you know, he's like, where am I gonna go with all my animals and blah, blah, blah. I'm living in this house with holes in the walls, holes in the floor, you know. I just thought like to bring it up.
Yeah, listen, it's a great question, but at the end of the day, you guys, you can't be held accountable, so we don't know. Right? Did the original flipper know it? Did he put the floors in? You know, so they're gonna go back, but like, you listen, it sounds like the concrete could be bad at that point. If the concrete's just crumbling after.
No, it's
30
crumbling
years?
because there was a leak in the pipes, and the pipes back then,
Okay.
like my house, I had a leak. And
don't see how that
they
could
just
be.
they cut off the pipe and go through the attic. Right, I had a leak, it was
Right, you
actually the
just-
hot
yeah,
water that
yeah.
was leaking, but my foundation didn't crumble,
Right,
cause the copper pipes.
right, you just cut them off, go to the
Right,
ceilings.
we went up to the attic and
redo it.
rerouted it, but
Oh, man. Well, that'll be interesting to find out what happens there. Keep us in mind. Let us know if you talk to him anymore. But it's gonna be an ugly deal.
all I gotta say is I'm glad I didn't sell them.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I told you guys, we had a lawsuit here that took 5 years to defend. 5 years. Whoa, I don't wanna get into that one again. Ethics class right after this. And then next week, we're gonna do the purchase agreement. We'll have lunch here as well. Let's see here. So our one day is coming up, you guys, May 1st. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna do, we're gonna collect items from all the offices. We used to go out and do our own thing. Now, these companies decided we're gonna all try to do it together. We're looking for glue sticks, trifold, notepads, that kind of stuff. We're donating it to the Quiet Storm Foundation, the Watson Hoops. What we're gonna do is we're gonna collect all the stuff, and on May 1st, we're gonna go to the Green Valley office. We're gonna have food, drinks. Kuba's gonna be there, several other people. We might even have some special dignitaries from the state of Nevada. They might be announcing a few things, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna start collecting stuff for that. You guys, it doesn't have to be nothing expensive. Again, backpacks, USS, gift cards, Kleenex, that stuff. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And so that'll be our May 1st, so we're collecting stuff right now. While we're doing that, let's do this. Let's bring up JP with JPs Junk Removal. Give this guy a big hand. All right, sir.
You know, he's making me feel old today,
Yeah.
because I turned 50 May 4th.
50?
So-
I got shoes older than 50.
Yeah, well, I still remember a bunch of that stuff. My dad had some of the first cell phones, and they were the size of a duffel bag.
Yeah.
And we lived in Michigan, and he did business in Chicago, and he used to actually physically have to take out a computer chip when leaving Michigan and going into Illinois and switch it to a different chip. So, yeah, I mean, I remember you didn't use that phone for anything but business. Like, because you were paying long distance, and it was like $5 a minute,
Yeah.
which was a lot more back then than it was now. And he would call my mom and be like, I'm here, I'm safe, I love you, good night, click, right? I mean, it was like, I'm keeping this call to under a minute.
Yeah.
So, my name's John. I'm the owner of JPs Junk Removal. We've been around 16 years. We're one of the oldest companies here in the valley. We're the highest rated locally owned company. Sorry I gave you some old business cards, but it does list our services on it. Primarily right now we do junk removal. That's anything from
hey, I've got the photographer coming over, this couch is ugly, it's gonna make our pictures look like crap, can you get over here and get rid of it for us? To hoarder cleanouts, bed bug, you got a mattress with bed bugs on it, we do bed bug removal of contaminated items.
Crime scene, stuff?
We will be getting into that, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But I've done emergency stuff for realtors. If you've been a realtor for any amount of time, you've had it where the sellers swore the buyers wanted this stuff, it's not in the contract, and the buyers won't sign the contract till the stuff's gone. I know it's happened to you.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten calls, panic calls from realtors at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Hey, we're closing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and I gotta get the stuff out of here. And I said, shoot me the 1-day code. I get over there. I've literally done this stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning for realtors. Take pictures, text it to them, so when they wake up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. and they look at their phone, they go, okay, my closing's good and secure tomorrow, the stuff's out of there. And then I settle up with them later. We work like any other hauling company. Primarily, we charge by how much space the stuff takes up in our truck. So if you call me and you say, hey, I've got a client that's got a bunch of stuff, how much? That's like calling a gas station and going, I need to put fuel in my tank, how much it's gonna be. And the guy at the gas station goes, that depends on how much fuel you're gonna put in your tank when you pull into the gas station. Same thing with us. The best thing typically to do, if you have a bunch of different stuff, is just schedule us to come out and take a look at it. We do on-site free estimates. If your client likes the price or you like the price, we can get the work done or schedule it for another day. If they don't, they're under no obligation. They can always send our guys on their way. That's how every junk hauling company does it in the industry. We take payment via Zelle, card, cash. I don't accept checks anymore. We had too many problems with them during COVID. We do offer financing too through a company called Sunbit. So if your client has a source of income and a bank account, we typically can get 95% of people approved. So if they're in like a pinch, tight on cash while selling their home, we can work with them. Worst case scenario, I have billed escrow. It's like the last resort. I don't like doing it, but I'll do it, and I do charge a hefty escrow fee to do it. But that is available. We are a multi-truck, multi-crew operation. All my guys have clean backgrounds because we send people on to Nellis Air Force Base, so no misdemeanors, no felonies. They're all uniformed, our trucks are all lettered, so it's a very professional operation. We try to donate what we can. What we can't donate, we try to recycle, and then we try to minimize what goes to landfill. You have to be very careful who you hire in our industry. Fox 5 did a report back in December about a bunch of illegal junk hauling companies dumping out in the desert, right? We've all been there driving past some vacant lot,
Right.
and there's a big, so when you call me and you go, how much you get rid of the couch? And I go, $160. And I'm not making any money till I hit 300 bucks, just to let you guys know. The cost of insurance, commercial auto insurance, is like so my truck payment is $2,500 a month on one of my trucks. My commercial auto insurance is half of that. Right? So, and then I have workman's comp, general liability, pay my guys above the table. Right? So when you're running a legit business, it's not cheap. If you call me up and I go $160 for a standard couch, and you call Joe Smo Hauling that's pulling up in the old beat up truck with the cracked windshield and the white beater on and the junky old trailer, and he's gonna charge you $75, just know if he grabs that couch and your client's got a piece of mail in between the cushions and they throw it in the desert, you laugh, but I'm like bringing up real, because I
Yes.
do vacant lot cleanups. It's one of the things we do. We work with code enforcement, we work with the health department on a weekly basis. And I've watched them cite people because they hired the wrong guy and they threw their stuff in the desert, and there's something with that person's name on it, and they track them back and then they go, but I paid so-and-so, but you hired an illegal company, so therefore you are partially responsible and we are fining you.
Interesting.
sticky.
So, just like if you hire one of these companies that's paying they go down to Star Nursery or Home Depot or wherever and pick up temp work for the day, and that guy breaks his ankle on your property, and that company doesn't have workman's comp, guess who's responsible under state law? The property owner.
Seems fair.
So, don't cut corners by hiring the cheap companies. Cut corners by hiring companies that do stuff the proper way. Now with that, we are getting into cleaning. We are starting a cleaning division. For, it's commercial residential, we'll do cleaning, move out clean outs, we'll do cleaning to put the house on the market. I am bringing on a business partner that's been in business over a decade. He's from North Dakota. He does medical centers, hospitals, like anything from the regular home cleaning all the way up. He has his IRCC, all his certifications. We are launching that officially in June, but mid-May we may start to be doing houses here in the valley. So if that's a service you're looking for, and I understand it's hard to find good cleaners here in the valley. He has SOPs, processes, he's shown me his checklist. The only reason I'm partnering with him is we do the same thing. We have SOPs, we have processes in place to make sure our employees are doing what they're supposed to be doing. He does too. So we will be, that's gonna be called JPs Clean It Crew. We are in the process of hiring a manager for that we're gonna be sending up to North Dakota for a couple of weeks to train up so that we know that person's trained to the proper standard. And then we will be bringing that person, that person will come back home here, and then we will start hiring and training employees. So the thing I wanna do for my realtors is be a turnkey operation, right? Later this year, we're gonna look at doing handyman work, probably lawn maintenance as well. I wanna get to the point where we're a one-stop shop, where you go, hey, I'm listing this house, who do I need to call? I need to call JP. He'll get this whole property in order so that I can list it and I don't have to worry about anything. So right now, think about us for all your junk removal needs, but keep that other stuff in the back of your mind.
JP, do you guys do power washing?
We do. I do power washing currently. I have been doing that just as long as junk removal. I do anything from oil stain removals in driveways, up to when Don Ahern bought the Lucky Dragon, I cleaned that whole parking structure, all the glass on it, all the fascia, the sidewalks. So we do large to small projects. We do pool decks. One of the things that we talked about, and you have to be careful who you hire for pressure washing, is cool deck. Everybody here know what cool deck is? Cool decking? If you do not clean it the proper way, you can damage the cool decking really easily, and it's expensive to fix or replace. So hire an experienced pressure washer, which we are, with cool decking. Like, one, you can't use heat on it. Two, you have to use the right chemicals because you're right next to the pool. So if you're not using the right stuff, you can mess up the pH balance in the pool. Now suddenly you're calling your pool guy back and you got more issues, or you could damage the cool decking. So, but yeah, and we do soft washes on house. We do window cleaning, and like I said, the oil stain removal. So if you're dealing with a client with an HOA that's got oil stains in their driveway, we can do that. We can also do garages. We use something called a surface cleaner, like a round disc looking thing. Contains all the spray under the head, so we can go in the garage and it's not spraying all over the walls and the ceiling. We have the ability to do water recovery too. I just did somebody's backyard pool deck where they had a drainage issue, and instead of water going up in the house or all that dirty water puddling in a spot, we were able to suck up all that water as we were doing it. So we have some unique capabilities that others don't. Any questions, comments, concerns? Yeah.
Questions?
Questions?
Nobody?
Nobody?
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk
Absolutely.
again.
Well, me and you'll be talking, because you're
Yeah.
gonna do my backyard. Appreciate you
All right,
coming
sir.
out, thanks.
Yep, and I gotta run, so
All
everybody.
right,
have a
thanks,
great
I
day.
appreciate you, JB. Yeah, you guys, I know that we've had, just like you was talking about, where in the last minute, they got junk, and for some reason, sellers think that the new buyer wants their old junk. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. No, I want you to have my own crap. So, that's not the case.
They're gonna leave it in the garage.
Yeah, they're leaving the garage, yes. Or what they're gonna do is pick over all the good stuff, which we actually had that happen, that exact story. We had that, we talked about this, make sure, if, I don't know, I think Kenzie's got it, might have sent the email to everybody. The first 20 people, she'll get a shirt made for your size. And I think we're gonna have like 30 shirts made total. 20 of them will be made to the size for the first 20 people, and the rest will be like, larges or whatever. Remember guys, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Kuba's gonna be in town, some other dignitaries from our company, and like I said, there's gonna be some state representatives as well. There are a couple private offices that are available right now. Anybody's interested, 2 people to share one, there's no long-term contract, that type of stuff, somebody wants one of them. And then next week, we will have Corfact out. Does anybody know what Corfact is? Corfact is a very good tool for sending out flyers. I still believe flyers are good. They have different sizes, all different kinds. I used to use that way back in the day. My assistant, every time we sold a property, would reach out to Corfact, upload a document, send them 250 to our sphere of influence, and 200 to 300 to the area when we sold the home. And we did that for like 5 years. So Corfact's gonna be a really good one. She'll be here to talk about the different things that are, stuff they do, prices. I'm trying to think what the heck it cost us. God, I wanna say back then it was almost $1 a piece to send them out. So I don't know how much it is today. But it beats, you have to put stamps, you go through all the stuff. You send it to them, they do everything, they send it out. Back in the day, and I assume they still have today, and you might even know this, Heather, they had a website, a link that would, if this client went on it, you would get a notice that, hey, Susie went on to looked at your flyer, and would like more information and stuff.
Yeah, there's a QR code.
QR, okay,
Yeah.
now it's QR code. It
Yeah,
used to be
so
like a website or
what's
something.
my property worth, and then when someone scans that, they'll get a text and an email that someone
Perfect.
scanned it.
Cool, so that's gonna be next week, guys, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, that's all I've got. Any questions for me? Anything else that we wanna discuss? Rebel football is getting ready to come in on next Saturday. They're doing a practice at the, they're inviting people who have season tickets out to. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see what the new is. I've been real iffy about the new guy, but I think I'm starting to warm up to him a little bit more.
He's a good coach.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a real good coach. So I'm warming up to him. I was still bitter over the way our last coach left, but I've come to terms with it. Okay. All right, everybody, thanks so much. Check your emails, come back. We're gonna start our come on, Jeff, our CE class at 11:15. There's some donuts, there's water, coffee downstairs. You guys know where it's at?
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, it's in the thanks, man. It's in our cafe. Yeah, just go down to the kitchen and you'll see it. Okay? Pardon? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, you put me on the, yes.
That's the only one I'm missing, I'm like, where do I
Yes,
go?
we are doing a risk reduction, that'll be the next year.
Is it in May then?
It's in May, yes.
I have to renew by May.
Okay, yes, okay, yes. Sorry, you threw me for a minute there. I'm like,
Why would
what?
I do that?
What language are you speaking right now? Cool, yes, we're really
This was 18 years old.
Oh, dude, that looked like me, long with you. That's awesome.
The good old days.
Good on. It's a CE class for your afternoon airlines. You did your post licensing already, so you can start doing CEs, but you don't need it for 2 years. So we're doing it right up here. You change the division. Okay. Go down to the division, I'll say how value. Okay. You go right there, right there. Okay. Cool. Well, how are you doing, my man? Absolutely, glad you're here. Good. Okay. I love it. Cool. Well, let me know when you're ready to do something. Now, okay. Cool. Do this. You have all your. You have time. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do it tonight. I mean, we can do it. I can send my girls and upstairs. They have everything. I'm going to come down in just a second. So if you wanna go down and see Katie, she'll, or get you there at the front desk, and they can give you the, application and all that stuff. Okay? Yeah, absolutely, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
That's usually why you text that.
Absolutely. So let's do this, well, let's do it today then, let's do it, I've got some time on Friday, I'm booked tomorrow and Friday, Thursday, I have some time on Friday. Let's organize something, like, I think sometime in the morning, like 10 o'clock probably. Let me confirm that, or give you a shout out, but I think 10 o'clock on Friday. Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. Yeah, and hey, Heidi couldn't come in today, she comes in a new home, so she can, thanks, Stacia.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yep, that's it. Cool. All right.
We can see if
Yeah,
condos
yeah.
are.
So let's do this, let's meet on Friday, we'll organize it. Okay. Then we'll do all that. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're more than welcome to stay if you want. Okay. It's gonna be a 3-hour class, but you don't have to stay for the whole thing. Yeah, okay, cool. There'll be lunch at noon as well.
Question for you.
But it's gonna be different.
Get a
from
sign
what's
company,
conventional
put a sign in the yard.
or if it's an FHA.
I don't know of anybody, I know,
Send me, email me the address, and then, I'll also email you back the link for FHA. I did talk to somebody else that, is an agent here, and this condo listing was approved on the FHA list and said approved.
Hey, Jim,
But when
you
they
know the
get
sign company
documents
that can
back,
put signs up?
Sign guy.
Behind
That is
the
fine.
HOA.
That is fine. Yes,
So
for
if they have
Darcy.
an FHA.
And you already have your sign.
Oh, she's going to grow? Okay.
Yeah, it's not put in the ground.
Yeah, they'll come and get it for you.
Go get your
From the
sign.
post in, the post.
Sign guy, good.
Darcy,
Do they store the signs too?
oh, yeah, we hope. I haven't seen my signs in 15 years. Sweet. I don't know where they are. I hope they're down there.
If I want to go through,
You know, there's a can of worms and you don't know which ones are there.
extended, being able to see classes through,
Okay.
Keith, thank you.
Yes.
How do I sign
Yes,
up for that?
that it is.
Say that again.
As long as
You
it doesn't say
need more
everything.
C classes. Oh,